these little die cuts. These were, I think they were probably place card holders for a wedding. And I wanted to keep them together because it's Mr. and Mrs. Hoffman. So I thought that was cool. But then this was with it. The creepiest bride and groom image I've seen.
Well, if you got a dollar on just a lousy down, know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine. You can take or leave me, but you ain't got much time, 'cause I just keep on rolling down the line.
Hey, it's Trusty Huckster Mercantile, and I'm coming to you with a haul video from my day at the Kane County Flea Market, and that is in St. Charles, Illinois, and that is down the street from where I live. And they go on a hiatus during the winter, so it's just starting to come back up. It's the first weekend in April, and had high hopes for this one, but we had a pretty nasty storm come through last night, and so most of the outdoor vendors weren't even set up today. So wasn't as big as I'd hoped, but I still had a blast. And even though it was not my intention, I ended up doing a bunch of sourcing. Some things I got for myself, some things I will be reselling, and it all happens to be ephemera. So I'm sure some people are getting tired of ephemera because it is not everybody's thing. I get that, and I do resell it, and I recognize that it is not everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy kind of digging through it. And I got a couple of cool stories as I did it today. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I picked up. So I'm going to start with this stack of menus. So if you've followed my channel in the past, you know I currently have actively am collecting a series of menus that are cruise ship menus, and I'm trying to focus on everything prior to World War II. My goal is prior to World War I, but those are a lot harder to find, so I'm contenting myself with World War II. And my goal is to eventually have one menu for every day of the year. I don't know why. That just seems to me like a realistic goal. So I'm kind of I think I have around 50 or 60 right now, trying to figure out the best way to source them, or I mean, I'm not source them, categorize them and track them, because this menu is a perfect example of why I need to be able to keep track of things. This is one of my favorite styles and actually favorite cruise ship menus to collect. They are postcard menus. And this one is from the Admiral line, the Pacific Steamship Company. So postcard menus are not that unique. A lot of companies did them, but this particular one, they always do. They've got a place to write the message on the inside. They have the menu printed on it. And then the menu is also always dated. So I now have one for August 2nd. We'll see what years I collect them. But then they design the cover of it. So like when it's sitting on your table at the cruise ship, it looks just like a menu. But then it does fold up. You'd have a little bit of a seal on there, and then you could mail it. And several of the ones I have never been mailed. So this one's actually been mailed. This one was sent to Russell, Iowa. Does have a postmark on it. The cruise was 1929, and that's probably what the postmark says. Sometimes they were sent well after the fact, or a lot of times they were never sent at all. So I have several of this companies and this cruise ships. I have several of this style, but I didn't know if I had this design, and I don't think I did. So hopefully, I know I didn't have the date because I have started tracking all the dates. I literally have just in the notes section on my phone, I have literally every cruise ship, the company and the ship, and then the date of the menu. And then I also started putting in whether I have the breakfast, the lunch, or the dinner menu, because I started coming across duplicates of the same date, but in two different locations. It's the same ship on the same date, but one was the lunch menu, one was the dinner menu. So, trying to find them that way. So I did pick this one up. These all came from the same price. There's one booth at the antique shop or at the flea market that just does ephemera, primarily postcards, but then they've got this kind of little bookcase filled with binders, and that's where a lot of their menus are. So this was a new cruise line to me. I didn't have anything from the Arnold Bernstein line. So this is a dual German and English menu, and it is from 1934. And then two from Canadian Pacific. Now, Canadian Pacific becomes difficult because Canada Pacific also has a railroad line, and there are menus for the railroad line as well. So you always have to do a little bit of digging. So this is the Canadian Pacific, but on the inside, it was fairly clear. It was the Empress of Japan, and it was the at sea day. So I don't think their railroads were going at sea. So this was one of the cruise ship menus. And then this one also happens to be Canada Pacific, but it's got a different cover. So I liked that. And this one was Empress of Scotland. So it doesn't say at sea, but it does talk about the change in time. So this is also one of the cruise ships. So I picked up 4 menus that those are going to stay in my personal collection, but I was super excited to have those. And I hadn't been there since last year. And I was super happy that they'd refilled their stock. They have a house in Florida, so they're always sourcing from all over the places, and they're rotating their stock. So it's great to have a new collection to pick up. The rest of this, pretty sure the rest of this, I think I'll be reselling. But I came across some pretty cool stuff. I've sold things like this before, but none this cool. This is a pack of lipstick tissues. Tissues are already in there. So they've got Kleenex lipstick tissues, but I've never had one that's both a kind of a dual branding. There's the Kleenex brand on the back, but then it's also advertising Baby Ruth. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm super excited to have that. You know, I'm a huckster, trusty huckster, but I'm a huckster. So I always like finding these quack medicine advertisements. I don't keep them. This is not a collection that I have for myself. So this one, it's kind of odd in the sense of what is it advertising, literally what to do. But then the minute you open it up, you suddenly discover what this is. It's one of those like almanacs / self-help books. But right inside the front cover, we are agents for Dr. Miles Remedies. Always a great term to find in your quack medicine advertisement collective. So this is actually a full booklet. And it has all the ailments and all the things that could possibly be wrong with you. What to do with the baby in hot weather. Well, here's all the things you could do with the baby in hot weather. You could give them all the medications that Dr. Miles has available. So that will be going up for sale. This was super fun to find. So I've heard of this just recently. I did put an item up on my eBay channel, and it was for a premium catalog. Okay, no big deal. Premium catalog. I thought I knew what that was. Thought it was kind of like the whole S&H green stamps thing. And I have other premium catalogs. So that's exactly what they were. You collected the coupons, from the cigarettes or from the store or from the food products, whatever, and then you trade the coupons in to get the premiums. Totally fine. But what I had on the eBay store was actually, it was kind of like a self-contained booklet. And it also had a punch card in it. I also collect punch cards, so I thought that was pretty cool. But in this was you basically went out and you sold to your friends all of the punches in this punch card. That was they sold 24 different boxes of candy. You then sent the money that you received from your friends. You sent it to the company with the friend, your name, all the names of your friends. They would send the box of candy back. And you would then get a free gift. And what was really cool about it, that one of the free gifts was a movie theater, like a motion picture machine and this was like from the 30s. It was amazing. Like just selling one box of chocolate, 24 pack of chocolates, you could get some pretty amazing premiums. That's kind of where this is coming from. But this takes it to a new level because this is targeting kids. So what I've got is the original outer envelope. You can see the return address is for Jesse Woods in Orleans, Indiana. It was sent to a place called Pocahontas, Illinois, which I don't even know where that is. So I'm assuming it's Southern Illinois. And inside there was, first, you had the return address, the return envelope. So this is what you were supposed to send, once you did it. It was what you sent your order in. But what it included were these cards. And the first card, the one that was on top, was this that would be sent. And it says, I want to give you $1 box of candy. Okay, so we're already dealing with kids. And so this is sounding creepy, but whatever. I want to give you $1 box of candy or gum for distributing a few of my printed cards among your friends. I'm sending you the cards. You distribute them among your friends. And as soon as 3 of them take up my proposition, I'll send you any box you may designate below. Juicy grape gum, spearmint gum, peppermint gum, fruit gum, clove mints, wintergreen mints, Gordon mints, or gumlets. Indicate which candy you want and return to me. And it gives the information. And so That was kind of like the little instruction card. And then these were the cards that you were supposed to distribute to your friends. So these were to the friends to say, I will give you a choice of any box of candy or gum mentioned below for taking 3 orders of, guess what? What do you think this man, this stranger, is asking these kids to sell for him? Neckties. I was below for taking only 3 orders for my neckties at $1 each. Every man wears neckties and the orders are easy to get. Sign your name and address below and make an X after the box of candy or gum you want. Give this card to your friends and ask them to read the other side carefully and give you an order. Your friends. Okay, so wait a minute. Who are we targeting now? Maybe your friends wear ties. When this card has been signed on both sides, properly send it to me. So that's the front of the card. And then this was basically the order card. So I'm a little bit unclear because it does say name, color of Taiwan, and then it says post office and state. So I think they would ship the ties directly to the person. That's my guess. I don't think you had to then actually do that. But then if you got at least 3, you got a box of candy. And then if you get 5 orders, I'll send you 2 boxes of candy. I'll also send you an extra present. So this is like Huckster 101. I mean, this even 101. This is like 201. This is graduate level Hucksterism. So the fact that this was all still together with the original envelope, and I should have looked it up. I actually don't know what year is on that. I don't know. What do you think? I thought it was earlier, but that kind of looks like 1968. I'll see. So I don't know when was a 2-cent letter. I'll have to look at my postal. That's something I've been starting to study as well for postcards. Did you know that postcards changed rates prior to 1958? They were 1 cent, then they went up to 2 cents. Then they went back down to 1 cent and then back up to 2 cents. And then went back down to 1 cent. And then in 1958, they went to 3. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'll have to look to see maybe when this is, because I can't really tell from here. I would have thought they were older, like 20s or 30s. Maybe this is 30. I'll have to look. Anyway, I thought that was a lot of fun. That I will sell it because, again, I do have some Huckster stuff in my collection, but my Huckster collection literally says Hucksters on it, not just pretend Hucksters, but I give credit for that. All right. The next batch, actually all of this next stuff. So this falls into an absolutely special category for me. I have only been recognized a handful of times. And it's usually in a location where you would expect to be recognized. So I was recognized today. I was recognized at the flea market. So hi, Dave. Dave saw me walking by. I had purchased some of the ephemera, and I think what I was actually carrying, now that I think about it, I think I was carrying the Huckster batch because I'd already made one trip back to my car with some of the other stuff. Because it was like off and on raining, so you don't want to carry paper around in the rain. So, but he saw that I was carrying that, and he's like, "Oh, do you do ephemera?" And I said, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I've got some boxes," and he pulls them out from underneath the table, and then as he's giving them, he's like, "Wait a minute, I recognize you." So that's kind of fun to be recognized, but it also just falls into the category. If you do ephemera, sometimes you have to work for it because it was a windy day. It was wet, so a lot of the paper stuff, just wasn't being set out because for the outdoor vendors, there were a handful of them. He was in a sheltered area, but it was like one of the barns that didn't have the sides. So he was still a little bit exposed. So he had that stuff kind of covered up. He opened it up for me and we dug through these boxes, and he has an absolutely fantastic collection. I'm totally curious to see what he does with it. He found through a house clean out, it was a bunch of paperwork from the 20s, 30s, and 40s from a family that used to do minstrel shows and perform, I think it was Keeping Up with the Joneses was one of their skits. And there had applications to theaters, there were playbills, there were articles, there's all this cool stuff that was kind of like all in a binder. And there were some beautiful billheads and letterheads that like individually would sell wonderfully. But he and I agreed it's one of those cases that probably should stay together and probably needs to go someplace that has like maybe that somebody that collects minstrel stuff. But that's hard to find. So it was fun going through that. But then there was all this other stuff that he had as well. And so there was just some fun things that I found. And it was just random stuff that I picked up. And he was a great guy and gave me some really good prices, and I really appreciated his support. And he told me about another great show to catch in the future. But this was one of the fun items that he gave me. I didn't give me, I bought these things, but that he found, or they found in the box. So it says right on the back, insert fingers through holes by moving them about, add effects are created. So like, I guess you can be a little dancer. It shows that you're supposed to put your fingers in the little thing at the bottom, but I guess I do a little can dancing. So fun, a little card, not really a postcard, just kind of a die cut thing. And it's from the Joker Joe's Typhoon Club. And dating these things, again, is one of the fun things I like to do with ephemera. So it does have a 2-digit zip code, which means it's from World War II to 1963. So, looking at that, I'd say probably the 50s. So that was a fun item. And right along with that, he had this little book from 1955. I did a little bit of research on this. The NNC convention at Zorro Mature Park. I have no idea what this is. He didn't know what this was. I mean, you can see the image that's shown on there. Good sunning, but I don't know what the NNC convention is. And I've never heard of a mature park. It's a little notebook. I don't think it had anything in there. It's an address book. It's not filled in. So I don't know if it's like, I'm just curious. I want to know what the mature park was for. On the flip side of the mature park, I always love rewards of merit. So I picked up one of those. These are just something I enjoy selling. I think they're kind of cool. There was a dance card, even had the pencil still attached to it. So that was fun. These little die cuts, these were, I think they were probably place card holders for a wedding. And I wanted to keep them together because it's Mr. and Mrs. Hoffman. So I thought that was cool. But then this was with it. The creepiest bride and groom image I've seen. And this is actually a bridge tally card. So I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with the wedding cards, but they were all together in the stack. So I had to pick that up because that was just weird. This, I love like finding sets of things. So this is everything related to the purchase of a 1950 Cadillac Convertible. So it's the bill of sale from the convertible. The price of the car was $3,440 in 1950. So this showed, and then all of the extras that were added, $25 for white sidewall tires, $105 for the radio with antenna. I don't know what blue coral is. Oh, $40 for the undercoat. Always got to sell the undercoat. That's what gives salesmen their bad name. So total purchase with all the add-ons was $4,076. So that's fun in and of itself. But then also with it were like some of the supporting things that you would have gotten to purchase when you purchased your Cadillac. So good housekeeping for your car, instructions of how to set your electric radio, a Cadillac owner's policy, looking pretty snazzy there. How to operate the folding top, the Fisher Body Service Division. But it shows because they did buy the convertible. So you got a little booklet of how to operate that. And then how to operate your heater. So I'm not really into car stuff per se. But I thought that was kind of a fun lot. And I think a car collector would really enjoy the fact that all of that's together. This was a nice little time capsule piece. Illinois record book for the Victory Garden Project. And it shows right on there, this was a 4-H project that was done in 1944. So we're still in World War II. So this was a legitimate Victory Garden project, and it has a little story written on the back by the member Joan Stafford. And I haven't read it yet, but there's stuff inside about what they were growing. So I thought that was like a fun little snapshot. And then there was just a mix of ages of what he had. But one of the other things he had, we had the Victory Garden. This was then after World War II. This was a packet of material. It's still got all the material. The envelope's falling apart, but that's okay. The U.S. Navy Recruiting Station. And you can see on this one, It has a 2-digit zip code on it because, again, this is after the war, before 1963. And in it are all of these materials. So there's life in the peacetime army. It's a fairly extensive, it's fairly thick guide there. There's a little pamphlet, Let's Go Navy. For details, contact your recruitment office. Navy athletics. Your choice of careers. The U.S. Navy School, so all the different things you could have in that. That also has a 2-digit zip code on there. So this actually must have been tucked in later because this has its own. No, that's just the name of the recruiting station. So this was sent with. I was thinking it was mailed separately, but that was sent in the envelope. And then what was really cool, because again, we're probably in the late 40s and 50s. Your career in electronics. Check that atomic thing that they did with the graphics. And then what's your Navy dollar worth? Well, let's see. What is a Navy dollar worth? I haven't opened this yet. It equals $3.96 in civilian pay today. So a little breakdown, I guess, of the pay. So I have no idea what I'll be able to resell this for, but I've had some luck with military stuff. I don't tend to specialize it in any way or shape or form because there are people that get really into it. I keep with the generalist stuff. But the fact that this is all together with the original mailer, I do think there is some value to this. So this will probably go up on my eBay store. So it was fun to have. It was also great to see a viewer, and appreciated Dave. We spent a lot of time going through it. Loved seeing all that stuff about the theater and the minstrels and everything. And then he gave me a tip. There is another show a little bit farther away from me. It'll probably be a little over an hour at a place called Gray's Lake in far northern Illinois that they do. It's kind of another antique show, but he said that it does attract a lot of ephemera dealers. And I've never done that one because it is a little bit farther away and didn't really think there's anything special about it. But what I've discovered, I go to Kane County regularly, when it's in season, because it's so close. The ephemera is not something that pops up a lot because not everyone carries it, or it's dug, maybe shoved under boxes somewhere. So he said that there's a bunch of people there. I'll probably be checking that out. So I hope you enjoyed some of what I had to share. If you're interested in purchasing anything other than the menus, drop me a comment and I'm sure we can work something out. If there's anything, if you have any questions or want to see any more pictures of what I just showed. And I hope we'll be doing some more videos of some of the stuff that I've been picking up along the way. And be sure to follow my channel and follow my eBay store because I am popping a lot more stuff into there because I'm focused on getting this stuff sold. Can't keep buying. I got to also start selling. So thanks so much for your time. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Well, show me a sign if you're wishing me to stay. Otherwise, I say goodbye and finish out the day. And that sunrise in the morning and you got nothing to say. Oh, that's when I'll be headed on my way.